everybody, it's Mrs. Garibaldi and I am here today with your reading lesson for Friday. Now, today you're going to need your Reading Comprehension Journal, and the same one that we used this week for the floor. We're going to be getting globes out of that one. So the GL blend, we're gonna go ahead and pull that one out, and we're gonna be using that one today for our reading, okay? So we're gonna be working on some reading comprehension today, going back in the text, finding answers, okay? And also numbering our text and our lines, okay? So go ahead and grab that, and if you need to pause, go ahead. If you can't find it, I will post a copy of these onto Edsby under the assignment. But for now, you can just go ahead and follow along, okay? Here we go. This is called globes. Now, the first thing we always do when we get our reading comprehension journal out is we put our name on it, of course, just like everything. Even though we're not at school, we can still put our name on things, right? And then we're gonna go and we're gonna label the lines of the text. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice job. So there are 7 lines of text in this writing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to read the text. And so I am going to read for you, and I want you to follow along with your pointer finger, okay? So let me see if I can zoom in just a smidge for you so that you can see. But I would prefer you to be pointing and reading on your text, just like at school, okay? When we would do our shared reading, and you would point at your paper and I would point at my paper. Okay, so go ahead and look at the first word of this passage, globes, and that is our. Here we go. Our teacher is going to let us paint globes. First, hey, it's one of our sight words. First, we need gloves. We have green and blue paint. Our teacher said we need to dip our paintbrushes in a glob of paint. Then we need to glide the brush across the globe. When it dries, our globes will be glossy. I am so glad we get to paint globes today. Nice job. So now our blend that we're working on today is GL. G-L. G-L. So let's put it together. Gl. Can you say gl? Good. So I noticed the G and the L in globes. I'm going to circle the G and the L in globes. I want to go back through the text and I want to circle all of the GL blends that I find. So let's look at line 1. Are there any GLs? Oh, here's a G, but it's not followed by an L, right? This is going. I don't see any of the GL blends in line 1. Let's look at line 2. Oh, here's one for globes. So you're going to circle the GL blend. Let's see. First, we need gloves. We found another one. We have green and blue paint. Our teacher said we need to dip our paintbrushes, wow, that was a long word, paintbrushes, in a glob, here's another one, of paint. Then we need to glide the brush across the globe. When it dries, our globes will be, another one, glossy. I am so glad we get to paint globes today. Perfect, we did it, you guys. Wow, look at all those GL blends in this passage. All right, are you ready? I'm going to read it and I just want you to listen. But before we do that, I want to read the questions because I like to read the questions sometimes before just so I know what to listen for. So question number 1. What do the students need first? So I got to listen to that word first. So I got to be listening for that. What color paint will the students use? How will the paint look when it dries? Okay, so those are the questions for this text. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to read it and you're just going to listen. Okay, so listen carefully. Here we go. Globes. Our teacher is going to let us paint globes. First, we need gloves. We have green and blue paint. Our teacher said we need to dip our paintbrushes in a glob of paint. Then we need to glide the brush across the globe. When it dries, our globes will be glossy. I'm so glad we get to paint globes today. So let's look at question 1 again. What do the students need first? So let's look for this word first in the passage. All right, did you find it? Look at line 2. It says, first, we need gloves. Underline that sentence. First, we need gloves, because that answers the question, what do the students need first? And we're going to write, they need gloves, okay? And that comes from line 2, so I'm going to put a 2 here and circle it, because that's going to tell me if I have to go back and check my answer, that's where I can go back to make sure I found it, okay? So what do the students need first? They, so capital T, TH says the, so they need, and then look, gloves is here, so I'm going to copy that. Gloves. Whoops. There, they need gloves. Next, what color paint will the students use? Go back in the text and let's see if we can find what line does it tell us. Did you find it? It's on line 3. So let's look at line 3 and it says green and blue paint. So let's underline that part because they're going to need and they're going to use blue and green paint. So what color paint will the students use? Blue and green, or green and blue is what it says. So green and blue. I'm just going to copy that. Green and blue. Whoops. Oh man, I forgot the U. It's hard writing far away. Our setup at school is much easier to write on. All right, my friends, are you ready? So now I want you to look at question 3. Let's read it. How will the paint look when it dries? Oh boy, this is gonna be a harder one to figure out. Let's look to see if we can find the answer. Go ahead and take your time right now to see if you can find what line would you look for this answer on when it dries. I'm gonna look for that word right here, dries. Let's see if I can find the word dries. I found it. Do you see it? Right there. That's on line 6. So let's underline that line. When it dries, our globes will be glossy. So that's line 6. And it says, how will the paint look when it dries? Well, when it dries, our globes will be glossy. So the paint will look glossy. We did it. Nice job, you guys. It's always so important to go back into the text and make sure that we find the answers, because I know sometimes when we read, we forget some of the things that we read, and it's always super duper smart, especially if it's asking specific questions, to go back in, find the answer, underline it, write the number, because right now you might be having an easy time, but these are skills and strategies that you're going to be using when you get older in 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th grade, all the way up into college. And so you'll want to make sure that you're using these strategies, because that's going to help you as you get older and as the text and the passages get harder. Okay, friends? I hope you enjoyed this reading comprehension today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I love you. I miss you. I miss our classroom, you guys. I hope we get to go back there soon. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye, guys.